What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
And you have Jaime and Freddy.
And it is time to talk about Freddy versus Jason.
How long was this in development? My God.
It wasn't in development for a long time, but people were trying to get it made for a long time.
Well, because they implied after Jason Goes to Hell, when the claw came up, because I actually was pretty sure that they tried making it and nothing even went into pre-production.
No, they didn't, yeah.
They were trying to get a team together. They were looking for writers, directors, scheduling, all this different stuff. So it's not like something went into development hell like it already
AVP happened first, right? Yeah. Or did Freddy vs. Jason happen first?
They happened about the same time, man.
Let's find out.
Yeah. As Cecil talks about that.
All right, well, yeah, you talk about your overall thoughts while I seek that out.
Yeah, because I'm curious. I want to say they both came out around 2003, 2004. But overall impressions of this, I'm so glad it finally happened. There is a lot of criticism about the fact that it feels more like an Elm Street film.
Freddy vs. Jason was 2003, Alien vs. Predator was 2004.
Okay, I knew they were right around that time because I was just getting out of high school and I went to see these films. And while it is definitely more so story-wise an Elm Street film, it's much more so kill-wise, in my estimation, a Jason film. Jason's kills are on just like the forefront, especially like the bed coming together kill at the very beginning. It's when we're first introduced to our characters and everything. He has the claim to the best kills in the film, and Freddy does a little bit here and there, and he's more so trying to regenerate powers, which is their justification for no big, elaborate Freddy kills. And I don't know, just seeing the big WrestleMania Rumble that we have at the end between these two characters, it makes the movie for me. It's gory, it's disgusting, they steal each other's weapons. It's so good. It's like if I was waiting to see Stone Cold versus The Rock or something, or Hulk Hogan versus The Ultimate Warrior. That is the extent in the horror community of this film. Everything else is pretty much okay, but I'm just happy we finally got to see it, and I think Ronnie Yu directs it very well, and for that reason, it's very much like, I don't know, a super gory horror film for the American Pie crowd in a lot of ways is the best way I could describe it. What do you think, man?
I am mixed on this movie.
The hesitance and the mixed
here's
feelings.
The thing. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It is pretty dumb.
But it's so fun. For those very reasons. And like there's even a point like Freddy kills literally 2 people in this movie and there's like 30 kills. So it's way lopsided.
Yeah.
Jason does all the killing, but Freddy knows that going into it. He's recruited Jason to do it, and then he has to sort of rein him in.
Which I'm going to get to in the story because I like that.
This is kind of the epitome of, it's like the most, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it. It's like the telephone version of Freddy and Jason movies if it was the 8th person talking about it and they were mashed up. It's like, it's the most aggressive of both.
Which is where
it's Jason, the most unstoppable and the strongest he's ever been. It's Freddy, the most crazy and the most sort of, whimsical that he's ever been. Like, Freddy vs. Jason was pretty whimsical. Or, I'm sorry, Freddy 6 was pretty whimsical. But
this isn't
the
quite
bong creature, the Freddy bong creature pushes it so far for me.
And the pinball
And the
scene.
CG doesn't work nearly as well.
Tilt.
Yeah, the pinball was dumb. I mean, but at the same time, it's really fun, too. Because you get to see Freddy go, "No, she's mine! Mine!" And you're like, what is this? It's so over the top. But it's so dumb and so fun. It's like, it's more fun than Freddy's Dead. But it's just as dumb in a lot of ways.
I have so much more.
It's just as dumb in a lot of ways, dude.
It's just as dumb, but as far as gory, crazy execution,
it's way better executed.
As far as
I'm talking about straight dumbness. It's just as dumb in a lot of parts.
There is just such an inner fanboy to me. If we're gonna segue in the story, which
please.
I loved seeing the way Freddy tried to terrorize Jason in his head. Where he goes to him as a child, where the water factor, all these different things.
He's his mom.
Yeah,
he plays his mom the whole time.
It was smartly written in that
Jason!
regard. Despite the stupidity, it was smartly written in the way they finally fashioned it, and I do feel like the script went through a lot of revisions, hence the telephone game aspect you mentioned. Like there was a there was a lot of people who probably worked on the script at one point, and lots of ghostwriters that didn't even get any credit. They just gave a little polish on it here and there, and it finally comes to fruition after wanting to make it happen for all these years. And so, long story short, Freddy he's dormant and Jason's dormant, but for different reasons. Freddy is dormant because of the fact that the
he has no more Elm Street kids.
They don't know about him anymore, which ties in very much so with the comics Cecil and I have read. And the fact that the community knows Freddy is real in the dream world, and they suppress their kids from knowing about it.
If I wasn't gonna do the Freddy project that I'm doing right now, I would do a Freddy project focusing on that.
Yeah.
One instance where Freddy is escaping into the rest of the world's knowledge.
Which is
I think that would be a
fantastic
in
short film. Remember, he was trying to get to a new community, a new town, a new place.
I might have to cut that out because I kind of want to make that. Nonetheless.
Anyway. I will let you be the caller.
But no, this movie was a lot of fun. But it's not deep. No. It's silly, stupid for stupid's sake. The characters are dumb.
I don't like any of the characters.
No, and as you pointed out, I'm giving proper credit where credit's due. One of the Fuego's first things is like, I don't think a lot of the humor would fly today, and I totally agree.
About this off camera. This is like in the woke movement.
When the black girl calls Freddy the F gay word, it doesn't work right.
Can we say it?
I would rather not. No, the F word for gay.
Yeah, F-A-G, but with the rest of the word and stuff.
She's like, hey, F, and it's like...
And nonetheless,
it kind of is cringy, though, still.
It's the second in command of Destiny's Child at the time, who did the Nelly song.
Oh, that's too funny.
It's Kelly Rowland, who was second in command to Beyonce, and Beyonce goes solo, and Kelly was like trying to find her career for a while. It didn't really happen quite as well.
Because she chose this.
No, well, maybe, but and it's so funny after she says all that to him, what happens, but we're not going to not going to spoil, but... I don't know. I still, story-wise, appreciate, even though I didn't really appreciate any of the kids, including our final girl, who had an arc on Dawson's Creek. Yes, I watched Dawson's Creek, and that's scary. I loved Katie Holmes.
Yeah,
anyway,
you did. Sure, that's why.
But this girl had an arc, and she wasn't too impressive. No, I was always Team Vanderbeek. What up? I would have drowned Casey in the creek.
I love it. That's so fucking Jay and Silent Bob. I was always Team Vanderbeek, yo. What up?
Yeah, I would have drowned.
That's how Jay would say it. Team Vanderbeek, what up?
Yeah.
Snoogans.
Yeah, more or less. Snooch to the nooch.
By the way, there might be something in the works cosplay-wise if Fuego will get on the ball.
Just maybe. But the story, yes, nothing compelling from these characters, and the fact that there's a couple kids, including one love interest from our lead final girl, who are at what is the name of the psychiatric place? Westward. God, it's eluding me. The place where we spend all of 3. The place.
Oh, Springwood. Yeah.
It's something with a W. Yeah, that's what's totally eluding me. But we are back there, and our final girl, her father works there. He's a consultant, and it's West Hill, I want to say. Maybe.
Might be.
Yeah, but there's still hypnosil in this. There's a lot of actually creepily written scenes in this where she starts to segue and fall into the dream stuff because she knows nothing about Freddy. But when
Weston Hills,
yeah. But when there's the first insinuation of Freddy, she almost kind of knows, and it starts to turn the gears in her head, and that's what he's trying to regain power through Jason, which I like this angle. Even if the acting is ho-hum for most of these kids, there's no big names, whatever, I still dig the story. I like the way they framed how Freddy puppet masters Jason and uses him. He's like, okay, I'm your mother, and, resurrect Jason, because you can never die, and,
And then he shrilly yells at him, Jason, what are you doing? Like, all that kind of, there's a whole scene of that, and I'm like, ugh.
There's some cheese in here, but there is so much more just fanboy fulfillment for me in this film that I just...
It's what Freddy would do as Jason's mom. I'm not saying it's out of character. I'm just saying it's grating.
It's the first Freddy movie that I saw in theaters, and the second Jason movie, because I'd previously seen Jason X, which...
My first was Freddy's Dead, and then New Nightmare, and then this. I definitely saw in theater as well.
New Line took a break for a while, and they were trying to develop this crossover, and it just couldn't happen. But, yeah, the acting leaves a lot to desire, as we would get to here in a little bit. But the fact that they wrote a World Wrestling Federation
Was that Miles Teller?
He looked a lot like him, but it was not.
It's not, okay. But
I had seen that kid in a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, he's been in stuff, but jeez, does he look like Miles Teller. Holy crap.
As we jump into cast and acting then, I think it's amusing to say that you see a lot of faces that you remember from the late 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
they were never in big roles in any of their respective films. They were minor characters, and they all get lead status in this kind of, and I don't know, it's none of the acting is particularly good, with the exception of, I think Englund is terrific in this, especially his opening scene where he's like terrorizing the girl and he's licking the photo, and he's really disgusting and gross. Especially, it almost makes you think like he missed the character and finally getting to play it again. He's not burnt out like he was, like he is now, where people have asked him to for like the Goldbergs and stuff. At that point in 03 or 04 or whatever you said it was, he was like kind of longing for it and sad that it had languished in obscurity and different.
Well, so it came
horror.
out in 03, so they would have shot in 02. So it would have been about 11 years since he shot the last one.
11 years since New Nightmare, which look for our review of New Nightmare.
Well, it's already out if you're seeing this. So.
Yes, if you stumble upon Freddy vs. Jason and you're more so of the Jason camp, and that is the one thing I also have to reiterate one more time. A lot of people are pissed that this was more a Freddy story-wise film than a Jason story-wise film, but I felt like they balanced it well enough, so
yeah,
I don't know.
So let's get into the effects, Fuego.
I want to.
Yeah, the effects for this, again, there's a lot of super cheesiness, and again, I think the issue with the effects in this are the same issue that I still have with the effects in movies nowadays. Literally, we just watched a movie, Terminator Dark Fate, where the effects were really good except for when the T-1000, that's a trademark to...
That's actually really funny.
Yeah, trademark to Angry Joe.
Although that might be as upsetting as going after Dark Meat or some of the other things that are uttered in this film.
But still, T-1000 is pretty good.
I thought he's great in it.
But when he's leaping from the bottom to the second floor and the third floor, it looks so CG. It's that kind of CG, the pinballing.
Yeah.
And you see the body just like ragdolling around, and it's so dumb.
There's also some of the weird scenes of like the jerky motion of the way that Ronnie Yu shot it.
Ronnie Yu.
As I was watching it on DVD the other night, it was like some of those chase scenes and some of the kill scenes and stuff, they didn't seem fluid. They seemed junky.
Agreed. Junky.
You know? Yeah,
I like that term.
I don't know. That's me just kind of trying to.
No. I agree though. I guess junky would work.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird, but when you get to the gore, that's the fun.
The gore is satisfying, as is the boob quotient in this movie.
That's true. Tons of boobs
right away. And as I was watching with my girlfriend that night, where
the guy,
lady walks into the shower after having sex, and the asshole like jock guy's like, "God, I told you I don't like being cuddled afterwards." Blah blah blah. Total. Don't make me tell you again. That guy was such a turd.
Dude, you're so happy he gets folded in half.
Man, yes, you do, and it's one of the best It's one of the best kills in the movie. Is where Jason comes in. Jason gets credit for the first couple kills, folds him in half, and he's just like
backwards, folds him in half backwards.
It's terrific, but they have a scene where they shoot down at the boobs, and Catherine is like, "So wouldn't it be great if we shot a scene directly down on the fake tits?" And it's just like right out like that. I'm like, yeah, it was really good, actually. But
I appreciated it.
Yeah, truly. But the gore really goes in the insane quotient with the final battle.
It does, yeah. When it's actually Freddy versus Jason, it gets crazy, it gets fun, it gets nuts. And literally there's arms through chests, there's arms gone, there's heads gone, there's all kinds of craziness that happens.
It's a battle that lived up to the hype.
It really did, except for the very, very end, where they're like ambiguous, where they're like, this person won, and then it's like, did he?
Yeah, because we're not trying to spoil, and there was a lot of people.
Spoilers on a 15-plus-year-old movie.
Probably not ultimately necessary, but yeah, there was dissatisfaction in that regard from some fans of both particular camps, but
because it felt too ambiguous. Like it felt like no one really won.
It's because they wanted to make a sequel, and they wrote a sequel script, and it turned into a comic book.
So we're going to be reviewing that separately.
Freddy
versus Jason versus Ash. We'll get to that. But I think that's going to do it for this.
Music's not that memorable. Lots of metal. I have to at least throw that in there. You've got Spine Shank, Typo Negative. Yeah, we have everybody arriving for an event right now. So sorry to cut it short, everybody.
The Pain-a-thon. But yeah, guys, if you didn't know, we are currently running a campaign. Well, actually, by the time this goes up, hopefully it's still running. If not, it's in the in-demand stage, where it's a campaign for Dylan's New Nightmare. It is a fan film sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where Miko Hughes is returning to play Dylan Porter. We are trying to raise funds for that. But that's going to happen nonetheless. So we're excited. We have one more Freddy film to review, which is the remake. So that's going to be fun. We're going to do that at a later time. There are reviews of Freddy comics galore. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias up and Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.